hi. They usually program me when they ask me to come and speak after lunch or right at the end of the day when everybody's like really tired. Then I get to kind of wake everyone up again. So if you haven't already, you might want to keep your smartphone ready because we're going to do stuff later on. But first of all, I'm going to talk for a little while. I should see something here, but I don't. I don't know if you guys can fix that, but I'm not being rude when I turn around. Times are changing. And what I'm trying to do with my work is show people that we're in the middle of a visual revolution. Right now, it's so easy for everyone to create. You have a camera at your fingertip in your smartphone, and you have so many tools to play with. It's a visual revolution. And I'm a photographer. I've worked as a photographer for many, many years. But all of a sudden, I have all these competitors. Because you're also all photographers. And of course, there's a difference. I have like big lenses and big cameras, and I didn't even bring them today, but I can carry them and I can do stuff with them which you can't do with your camera phone. But there's a lot of stuff you can do with your camera phone, which is very interesting also if you want to share a lot of visual content. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, and I'm going to help you, hopefully, to dig up that creativity, if you've lost it a little bit, and discover how easy it is to take really good pictures with your smartphone. Now, why should you do this? It's not always a good reason, but it tends to be a good reason to do something if other people are doing it too. And everyone has a smartphone, almost, if we count the entire world population. And people are sharing pictures all the time. It's crazy. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine this number. I can't even, my head kind of blows up. And probably a couple of you in the audience are thinking, yeah, they're sharing pictures of their cat and they're sharing pictures of their food. Please, guys. Yes, they are, but they're also telling stories. And this is something which is very interesting to businesses. And if you're in the food business, by all means, go and share food pictures. Because look at this. Visual and social tends to be irresistible. If I just said to you, hot chocolate, cream, you could think, yeah, nice, cool day. But if I show you this picture, something happens inside of you. And you're like, yeah, bring it on. So if you use pictures on social media, you just have so much better results than if you just have text updates. Here's some data. I think even this figure may even be higher by now. But you may have experienced it. When you write something on Facebook and you don't include a film or at least a picture, people tend to ignore it. It's very sad. It could be, something very deep which you want to share, but if you don't include at least some kind of image, it gets ignored very easily. So if you have a business, this is something which is great to be aware of and great to use. And a lot of businesses come to me and they say, well, oh my God, we need to have a Facebook page, and we need to go on Twitter, and we need to talk, and we need to connect with potential clients. But where's the content? We can't just write stuff all the time, and we can't use stock photos anymore because people don't buy that stuff. We need to be authentic. Oh my God. Okay, you have a smartphone? Go take pictures, and take pictures of what's happening in your company. So what I'm doing is trying to make people more aware of how much you can actually share, because I tend to worry, isn't this too bourgeois, or isn't it too, is it boring if we share our office? Is it boring if we share what's going on, or is it unprofessional? It tends to be not boring if you frame it in the right way, so this is very important. If I just go up there and I take a picture of that chair, it can be very boring. But if I tell a story around it of how I went to Amsterdam to Preziday and heard lots of interesting talks and got some great ideas, then the chair could have a whole new meaning. So this is what you need to learn, that very simple pictures, which you may think at first can be very dull, can actually tell a great story and are very simple to take. This is a little bit of politics, which I had to put in here. I used to work in politics. That was a long time ago. But I think it's very important that we start teaching kids to learn visual thinking. And I'm sure Prezi people will agree with this, because this is the new way of communicating. So if you're worried that you're not creative, that you can't, you're finding it hard to create visuals, you were never taught to do so. People told you how to read and how to write, but they didn't tell you how to think in images and how to associate in images and how to use them to convince people and stuff like that. Oh, great. I don't need to turn around anymore. What I've been doing over the past years is teaching people exactly that. I teach courses, creativity courses, photography courses, and they're all based not around technology, not around which lens, which ISO value, which shutter speed, stuff like that. They're all based around opening your eyes again, seeing the world, associating, and telling your story visually. And people are always surprised when they come to a workshop. They're always saying, well, you know, I don't know, I like to take pictures, but I'm not very creative. And then when they start actually doing it, they're so surprised by how easy it is. But you have to go do it. That's the main thing. So we're going to do a mini workshop today. I don't know how many minutes I have left, maybe 5 minutes. So I'm just going to go through these very quickly, because you're probably already aware of this, that people are just expecting images everywhere. Even like, these are my business cards. If you just show up with text, forget it, you'll just get ignored. If you just have a web page with text, people will just totally ignore it, go on to something else. And before you could use maybe stock photos, but I actually have a pin board. Are you guys on Pinterest? Can I just check? You know, okay, I have a pin board on overused stock photography, which tends to make people completely sick. So, for example, the hands meeting the business and then meeting each other, the plant, you know, growing. So, don't use that stuff unless you really want to make a point about overused stock photography. Of course, you could hire photographers, which is a great idea, but you don't always have a budget for that. And you don't always have the time, because sometimes you want to share stuff very quickly. So use your smartphone, or get your employees to use their smartphones. It has tons of advantages. You always have it. If you don't, like me, sometimes forget it, but you always have it. There's some great apps to edit your photos, which is another discussion. I mean, some people say, oh my God, you know, photography used to be so good before Instagram, and now you get all these bad photographers, and they make their photographs look good because they use filters, and it's just not fair. So what? You know? If your pictures look better with Instagram, by all means, use it. And the visual language is basically developing, and what people are expecting from you is developing, and just go play with that. And you can instantly share, which is another cool thing. The disadvantages, which I'm sure you're also aware of, low lighting. Like, if you want to take a picture with your smartphone in the back, it won't work so well. The older models don't tend to have a great lens or a great sensor, but this is developing very fast. I don't know if you guys have heard of the new, I think it's a Sony X10, which is a lens which you actually attach to your smartphone, and it's sort of via Wi-Fi talks to it or via Bluetooth. I can't wait to get my hands on it, because that's another cool tool. And in a couple of years' time, we'll have Google Glass, we'll have maybe a watch, and we'll just go take pictures like that, or a belt buckle and stuff like that, and it'll be great. Another thing is that it gives you little or no power over your settings, like your shutter speed or your aperture, diafragma in het Nederlands. But that's great, because it means you get to be more creative, right? You have less possibilities, so you don't need to worry. You just need to take good pictures. So the million-dollar question is how to take great photos. And for me, that's all about training your eye. Forget about great gear. Forget about the big lenses. I learned a really great new word recently called measurebation, which is what photography enthusiasts do when they buy big lenses, invest in them, know everything about all the data, and then can't take any good pictures. So don't worry about that. Just learn how to see and make the most of what you've got. So if you've got bad lighting, work with it. And one thing you have to realize is that you're filtering out a lot of information. That's why the world sometimes seems very boring, and you can't find subjects to photograph or to work with in Prezi, maybe. If I were seeing everything that's here right now, I would go mad. There would be a cart, and they would, you know, carry me away. Because it's too much. I can't see what color hair you've all got. I can see sort of red chairs. I can see there's people there. But that's it, because otherwise I'd go mad. I couldn't process anymore. What you can do is actually take that filter away a little bit, carefully, gradually, because you don't want to go mad. And then you start seeing things again, and you see a total world surrounding you with very interesting objects and stuff to work with and to photograph. So we're going to do just that. If you could put the lights on, to people with a handbag, get your handbag. To the men, or the people without a handbag, get something out of your pocket. Just pick something. Don't think about it too long. And then I'm going to give you 5 minutes to really look at it and investigate what it actually is. And then photograph it in 10 different ways. And you don't need to stay in your seats. You can use the whole room. So if someone can put a timer for 5 minutes, go for it. Try a different place. This is just to show you how quick and easy it is to find subjects and to reframe the way you look at the world. If you find it difficult to get good results, there are a couple of tips. You have a grid on your smartphone. Raster in het Nederlands of richtlijnen. And it's great to switch it on. There are the little lines going across your screen. And they help you when you want to get things straight. So for example, I don't know if you've ever tried to photograph a beautiful sunset at the seaside. With me, even a professional photography, sometimes I forget to check my horizon and the sea just runs out of the picture. So when you use the grid, you can get that right all the time. Same with buildings. Another thing, if you have an iPhone, you can actually adjust the lighting with your finger. So when you focus and you press and you keep pressing, your iPhone adjusts the lighting. And you can try this out. If you focus, first of all, on a light, maybe an overhead light or something, and then on something dark, and you'll see the picture adjust. So you have much more power than you think. Great, I see people trying that. And with the Samsung people, I always call them Team Samsung. It's slightly different, but you also have the power to adjust lighting. But you have to go into your settings and you can adjust to a couple of stops. You can make your picture lighter or darker. So it's worth checking that out. And another thing, because it's got trouble with, little light, it's really good to become an expert at stabilizing your phone. Now, stabilizing your phone is very easy. That's why I went and got it to show you. First of all, you have elbows. Great. This is like your first tripod. So don't try like this, but try like this. Always keep your elbows next to your body. Even better, find a surface which is kind of stable. I hope this is kind of stable. And either put your smartphone on it or put the elbows on it again. So there's lots of tricks. You could also put it against the wall. You could, of course, get a mini tripod. I have one, but I never have it with me, so it's completely useless, basically, otherwise than in the studio. But you can basically, there's lots of tricks to work with the lack of light. And we're also going to do a really, really, really quick portraiture class. I'm kind of the queen of selfies. I help people create really cool selfies. But right now, I want you to pair up and take pictures of each other, because this is another great thing you can do with your business, show who's working there. And again, you could hire a photographer to come and do some really good portraits. I mean, sometimes it's necessary, depending what line of business you're in and what you can use the photos for. But it's also fun to get some Instagram portraits done. It can be really cool, very quick. Now, what you need to know about this, can I have a volunteer? Yes, please come up. 5 minutes, oh my God. Okay, come on quickly. Yes, run. What you should never do, hi, Elsa.
Hi, is being volunteer, yeah.
Thank you, great. If you could move like this.
Yes.
Okay, never photograph someone like this. This is like a mugshot. It's full frontal, it's not very flattering. But what is great is Actually, your head is good like this. If you could move it just a little bit, and the shoulders, yep. And then look, keep your head this way, your chin. Yeah, chin a little bit lower, and then look that way. So this, what I'm doing right now, this is good for portraits. So not this, but slightly off center, shoulders slightly turned in, looks a whole lot better. And then there's the light. Now we haven't got a lot to work with here, so you're all excused if you take really depressing portraits. But overhead lighting tends to give panda eyes, right? Yep. So ideally, I'd have you go outside and take really good portraits in natural light. If you're doing this outside a Congress setting, so if you're doing this at work, take people to a window where there's natural light. And maybe even use an A4 sheet. I don't know if there's one here. I'll just use a book. Something white, or an A3 is even better. If the window's there, no, I'm going to use it. And you just reflect back. And you get really, really good results very easily and very instantly. So, portraits, not full frontal, slightly like this. Tuck in the chin a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. Try to stand up straight. And also, it's fun to take the picture, especially if you're photographing a woman, slightly from above. And if you want to find out why, try both and ask her which she likes best. Okay, 2 minutes, find someone to take a portrait. Can I do your portrait? Yep, go for it, go for it. A couple of more tips for professional looking pictures. Very basic, but good to know. First of all, sorry about the animations, I'm sure they're not done, but I love them. Isolate your subject. Works really well, makes it look really clean, so no clutter in the background. And again, white sheets of paper are the investment if you want to do your own photography. Then there's diagonal lines. They also work really well in pictures. And then there's symmetry. If you can get symmetry in a picture, it will look really calm and kind of professional. So these are 3 quick tips. 30 seconds? Okay. And it takes a bit of effort to get used to it and to learn it and to become better at using the camera, but it's really, really worth the investment. First of all, it's fun. I mean, it's great to do, and it's great to be able to take good pictures, but also creating content really works for your business. And what works even better is creating highly shareable content. I don't have a lot of time to go into this, so I'm just going to share quickly what makes images very shareable on social media. They can touch people in an emotional way. So this is like the kitten or stuff like that. People having emotions or awe-inspiring landscapes, epic stuff. They can be informative. They can be really good infographics. People love to share very good infographics because it makes them look really cool and smart. Because this is why people share. Remember, people share stuff because it makes them look good. I share stuff because people think, hey, she really knows where to get her stuff, and she knows about stuff. Wow, that's why I share. And that's probably why you share too. Then there's another thing they share, experience. You're probably all sharing pictures today of this event, so people want to share what they're doing. And if you've been at the same event, you're going to look for the pictures online and see what's been going on. And then there's another thing which is good to know, especially on social media like Pinterest. It really pays to use bright colors because people are they're just wired that way. So if you have pictures with bright colors, they just get a much higher sharing rate. Well, I think I probably have convinced, or hopefully have convinced everyone. Forget Google, just go and take pictures. Edit them quickly. And also, it's much easier now than it used to be to turn them, if you don't want a picture in your Prezi, to convert them in an editing program into a graphic illustration. So it's easy, it's authentic, and it's a very good way to get engagement. Any questions? I'm supposed to let you do this. You're welcome.